I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you definitely need some sort of air presence to win this game, right? Well, today, one of our teams accidentally finds itself asking, what if you don't? Let's find out what happens. 4v4 ladder, on the map Abrogation. As always, my loyal viewers, we're going to talk about the map in a second, but let's meet the teams. There is a hot team at the top left. There is a cold team at the bottom right. In the air position for hot team, we have Stormfront, who is 1360 rated, and Cybran. He's in Mucus Brown. But don't judge him for it, he can't help it. Next to him, we have HanSolo, the team's highest rated player, 1404 rated, and Seraphim in red. In the central position, we have Maudlin27, who is 1211 rated, and who is Cybran in burgundy. And last but not least, down here on the flank, we have RedOrion. Nope, we have RedOrion. Why don't I just call him Red? Oh, it's obvious why, but anyway, yeah. I'm going to be thinking of him as a RedOrion this whole match now, even though he's actually RedOrion. Either way, Orion is 953 rated, and Seraphim, he's in orange. Sorry, Orion, but you're an onion now. In the air position for cold team, this fellow here is Terminus619, previously and amusingly known as Terminator. He is 1369 rated, and Cybran, he's in cyan, and he's opened first air there, whereas Stormfront opened first land. In this position, heading out towards this reclaim here, we have DerpyShark, cold team's highest rated player at 1421, he's Seraphim in baby blue. In their mid position, just finishing off his hydro there, this is RazorRunner, who is 1135 rated, and Seraphim, he is in dark blue. And last but not least, up here we have Pippidon 1337. Man, do you remember when everything was elite? Apparently Pippidon does. He's 985 rated, and he's Cybran, he's in mauve. And the first thing to note is that everybody is either Cybran or Sera, with two of each on each team. So that could be quite interesting. The map has patches of reclaim here, and symmetrically, and then these smaller patches here, though they've already been mostly hoovered up. Little bits of reclaim scattered everywhere. These corners here have lots of mexes to expand into, and they're closer to the players here, but they will be competed over because the players in these positions are generally expected to head that way and fight over there. And also, the players in Orion and Pippidon's positions, I had to really fight, not to say onion there. They're expected also to defend sort of across mid as well. Obviously, air players are air players, and central players are central players, and will often be found in a supporting role as the game proceeds. So that's the map, that's the players. Have we got any shenanigans out? Well, yes we do. Terminus has out the first drop. It's got 5 engineers on board. These it had 6, but it picked up this. These plateaus here, you can't reach them from the ground. Look, they're on big cliffs. And so it's generally the air player's job to take these plateaus, and this one here. And we also have a drop going out to do the same thing from Storm. But it looks like that Terminus is going to be a bit more aggressive with his drop. He's going to try and steal maybe this reclaim, maybe some mexes. Yeah, he's putting something down on the reclaim, and then he's putting stuff over here. So he's going to try and pick up a little cheeky stuff in the way of drops from Orion early on. Storm, however, has put down everything here and is setting up this area before he moves on to other plateaus, such as this one. This is a cheeky NG coming to grab the reclaim that you might think would, quote, belong to Razor. The more that Maudlin can steal, the better, and this NG has already paid for itself. It's what, 52 mass to build an NG, and this guy's already eaten 300 of the enemy's mass, so good work there. We have a bomber out from Terminus coming in to make life difficult for Orion, and picking up these edges trying to get the reclaim will be very good, because That energy's not going to pay for itself. It could have got this. It could have tried to get some of this. But no, it's been bombed. And the bomber continues on doing its work. Radar denied. Very nice. This bomber... And look at all the engineers here and no anti-air to support them. This could be absolutely devastating. It's already got 4 kills. And it's going to keep on working. Radar denied again. More engineers taken out. Up to 7 kills. 2 vets on this bomber. This is doing really well. However, inties come in from Mordrin and pick it up. I expect that we're going to see mainly intie work from these players. Oh, this is nice. Look at this. Pippi has sent out a transport, and he's stolen this plateau that you might think by rights belongs to Stormfront. Well, Stormfront thinks so too, and he's landing his full load of engines on it that just finished their work on the other plateau. And Pippi's also kind of forgotten this, so I suspect that there might be a reclaim war here, which goes very much in Stormfront's favour. And indeed it does. Poor little Endry dropped on that plateau just to be eaten up. Pippi being nicely aggressive up here. He's got engineers out, building factories. He's got tanks in. There's a little more spam here from HanSolo, though. And Pippi's comm is in the area, but not close enough. I think this is going to be denied. Not so, however. Terminus drop. Now, Terminus is the air player, so this is eco that he could and arguably should be investing into getting to T3, but, I mean, he's doing work. 2 mexes down. This mex is almost at T2, but that's going to be taken out by Terminus run by here. And that could really... So is this one. Look at the amount of eco that has been pumped into this. Look at that. That's several hundred mass. And it's just wasted as Terminus gets the run by. This is absolutely brutal play by Terminus, and I love it. Even though it might mean that he has a little bit of an air disadvantage later. And it's now caught up by these troops from Onion. God damn it, Orion! Sorry, Orion, but you're an onion to me now. I can't shake it. By these troops from Orion. But he hasn't noticed that they've moved on, and if they can pick up something here, like this is about to be T2, if they could pick that one up as well, that would be hilarious and quite the setback for Hot Team. However, over here, Pippi's comm has come out this way, and that's given an opportunity for HanSolo to run in here. Pippi has a little bit of protection here. He has a point defense, but it's not capped by walls. I would strongly recommend capping your T1 defenses with walls, especially at this stage of the game, where it will absolutely tear through T1 tanks. Terminus, this mech did make it to T2, but Terminus might just deny it nonetheless. He's focusing it down, and I think that's the right choice. Because if he can kill this, that will really set back the eco for Orion. And he does. Beautiful. And while he's been doing that, more units have been trickling in all the time. He is not going to let up for Orion. Orion could move his comm across here and try and stop some of this, but he's too busy putting up production here. If I were him, I'd leave his engines doing that, and I'd bring his comm here to stop all this pressure from Terminus. Meanwhile, Pippi is going to have to worry about this. We've got a little bit of a run-by coming in, doing exactly the same work on Pippi as it did on Orion. But Pippi's got T2 units here. He's just brought in by transport a Rhino. And that is going to be enough to defend, I think, as there's only T1 as yet coming across from HanSolo. So Pippi has 49 eco compared to Orion's 29 eco. Pippi, out of these 2 flank players, has definitely come out on top. And Terminus is also actually bringing his comm forward, bringing his comm in here in order to join in the fun, while we've got Orion here getting gun. That will help, but look at the amount of spam that Terminus just keeps driving around him. And now he's going on for T2. He really needs to find some way to stop this coming in, because he's also got to worry about this pressure coming in the front from DerpyShark. Now, Mordrin has gun and stealth on him, and he's up against RazorRunner, who has gun. RazorRunner, however, has a lot more spam in the area, and that might be a problem for Mordrin despite his stealth. If nothing else, it will enable him... the stealth doesn't work if you can be seen, and these tanks just drive forward and they see Mordrin. He has got point defenses to fall back to, and but they're both taking damage. And these artillery pieces from RazorRunner could take out the point defense. Razor's still in the green, Mordrin's in the yellow, but now there are two T1 point defenses, and that might be too much. Razor has lost a lot of his spam, and I think he's going to be forced to fall back at this stage. However, Razor has got a couple of tanks past here, and he's taking out Onion's, no, those are Mordrin's mechs, but he may take out some of Onion's mechs here, because these are only NGs, and Onion is going to continue to be bullied as the, as Code Team's units come swarming in. That could be 3 vectors that he's about to lose completely free. Oh, no it's not. We have a gunship. So Mordrin has gone T2 air, and he's sending in a gunship to take out... Onion has lost a second mech, but the third at least may be saved by... just about, by Mordrin's gunship. Meanwhile, here's Terminus with his comm at the front, putting up point defenses, and look at the amount of dead units here. He really needs to get some NGs in there and reclaiming. These boys could do the job. I would strongly recommend it. But this is quite a big force here, and it looks to me like Onion... heaven's sakes. Orion is making a huge mistake. He is not bringing his comm over here, and he's just letting Terminus drive past with his superior numbers of spam, when this comm has gun and T2. This comm is now... okay, now he's putting up a T2 point defense. But even so, he has just let Terminus walk past several times, essentially for free. And at the moment, I'm just going to note that Code Team have an eco lead precisely because of that. Everybody else is about even, but Orion is way behind Pippi in eco. So this thing here is entirely the reason for Code Team having an eco lead. And this T2 point defense is up now, which will make it hard for Terminus to try and claim this reclaim. But again, he's wiped out all these mechs belonging to Orion. And he might just get some more if these carry on, because what's Orion got to stop him? Whereas on this side, Pippi has all these under his control, and we do have quite a large army massing for HanSolo here, and he's putting up point defenses, including T2 point defense there. But we've also got T2 build power on the front here, assisted by Mantis. Don't forget, for newer viewers, that Mantis have an engineering suite which can't start anything and can't reclaim, but can assist engineers to build. So he's putting up shield generators. I would strongly recommend a T2 point defense under that shield generator for Pippi. Speaking of Pippi, he's got into a fight with HanSolo. Han has gun and nano. Pippi has only gun, but Pippi has Ilchevals behind him, which do deal out an immense amount of damage. However, the Ilchevals are quite a long way behind him, and Pippi might be a little bit overmatched here. However, Han doesn't want to try and push in any deeper. There's shields here, but no T2 point defense as yet for Pippi. That would also be a nice thing to put up. He's trying to put some up quite far forward here. I would put some under the shield. But we'll have to see how that turns out. Meanwhile, what's this I see on the map? Terminus has a Strat bomber out. We do have T3 from Stormfront as well, so both teams on T3 are at about the same time, and Stormfront also gets the Strat out. Both going for aggression rather than defense. This point defense was denied, and we're now getting one... okay, that's still only a T1 point defense, but we're now getting point defenses much more wisely under the shields there. And Terminus Strat is going to come around and try and do some damage. Cheeky little attempt at a push there by... forgotten his name. Razor is caught there, but this is quite a big push coming straight into Orion's base from DerpyShark. And we'll watch it in a minute. I want to see how this engagement turns out. We're going to have a rewind. But before we do, we have to look at this bomber going into the base belonging to Stormfront. If it's not caught, and Stormfront already has 2 bombers there, but there's an ASF already locked onto it. Is it even going to get a single bomb away? It bombs a T2 mech. That would be nice. This would be the ideal target, but it's not going to get it off. It's shot down by Storm's ASF, and so suddenly Storm has the air lead in both air to ground and air to air. Anyway, let's go and see how Derpy did. I promised that we would rewind to look at Derpy, and here we are. DerpyShark is coming in with a big bunch of Urshis, and there's point defenses desperately being thrown up and not being capped, which I think is definitely a mistake. But Derpy's also got his comm, he's got gun, and he's got resto field, which is amazing if he just stays with the Urshis, but he's let the Urshis get a bit further ahead there. We also have T2 gunships supporting from Morden, but there's a decent amount of flak in this mix, and so Morden doesn't want to get too stuck in. That makes sense to me. And there's only T1 defense here. There is very little to stop Derpy that I can see. How much is Orion going to lose? Though you know what I was close to saying there. Derpy is being pinged like a madman, and we can see on the minimap that we have strats coming in from Stormfront. Is that going to be enough to hit him? He's only got 13,000 hits. 3 strats drop their bombs. Kaboom! He is down with only 4,000 hit points remaining if 2 of those strats survive to get him another hit. And sure, there is some anti-air. Derpy starts dodging, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. No, my loyal viewers, boom! It is not going to be enough. DerpyShark is our first ejection from the game, and he's actually our game's highest rated player today, so that is a big loss for Core Team. He does still have a big bunch of Urshis making a mess of the base belonging to Orion, and if Terminus, who takes over, can take out this HQ, that would be a big pickup, but I don't know if he'll be able to. Yeah, look, Terminus is worrying about other things. Meanwhile, though, Terminus has just kept up the pressure around here, and Orion is just not getting the chance to build anything here. However, these Urshis are, I think, going to be cleaned up before any more damage happens. Meanwhile, we'll go and check on Pippi. Pippi is getting stealth here, but he's brought his horde of hoplites under cover of a stealth field forward to make a mess of HanSolo. However, if he gets close enough to Han, then Han can just see him, and I'm not going to say that Han shot first because he didn't. The hoplites outranged the comm, even with gun. But Pippi isn't trying to press the attack. He's also going for a TML. We'll see whether that pays off later. We also have these forces from Pippi trying to press on Han here, but Han's put up quite the firebase with a shield, with TMD, and with multiple T2 point defenses, so I don't know if that's going to get a great deal done. Quick overview, Core Team a tiny bit ahead in mass, and they've collected more overall. How's mass killed looking? Well, Core Team have also killed more overall, so that is pretty nice. And now we have Terminus has set up a firebase here, and he's massing units, but Orion has repositioned himself. He started putting more point defenses down here, so he might finally be able to reclaim these. But look at the mass difference. Is he power stored? No, he's not. He's literally just down to 19 mass, when his opposite number, as it were, the equivalent position on the other side, Pippi, he's on 89 mass. So that is a huge difference, and the only reason that that Hot Team are not horrifically behind in mass is the sheer amount of eco that mainly Han and Stormfront have been putting out, because we can see that Razor is only on 80 mass. But watch this, this is a huge strat snipe coming in from Stormfront, and where is it going to go? They're not even stealth, they could theoretically be seen, and they're going for the HQ. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. What tier 3 air production? A PGen's down, the HQ is down, and suddenly these strats, Terminus can't produce any more T3 air in order to rebuild. And they're going for Terminus comm almost as an afterthought. He's into the red, and the last bomb drops, and boom! Terminus is ejected at 18 minutes 15 seconds, and suddenly both the two highest rated players of Cold Team are out. The air grid is out. The air grid is being absolutely smashed to pieces. There's no HQ. The PGens are being taken out. This is an immense setback for Cold Team. No T3 air. Cold Team, you're grounded. Oh, there's my cast title if ever I heard it. And he does have a few ASFs out, which have been inherited here by Razor, and that's enough to finish off most of the strats. But I think all the T3 PGens are going to be going down. That is amazing. Now, we do have to rewind a bit here to see what's been going on in the north, but what a huge, huge victory that little maneuver there was for Hot Team. Meanwhile, we're going to rewind a bit. Remember we saw these TMOs going up for Pippi? Well, he has started launching them, and he has quite a lot to fire. Look at the speed at which Cybran launchers can fire volleys. Well, and are we going to see some hits on this plateau? One cap T2 mechs, take it out. I think they're going for those as well. 2 taken out. 3 taken out. Though it didn't pick up the engineers as well, that would have been great. 4 cap T2 mechs is taken out by that volley. That is very nice indeed for Cold Team, and it's just increasing their eco lead. Now, we do have a bit of stuff just standing around doing nothing here because Razor is suddenly trying to manage 3 bases. He's also got TMOs up of his own, which he's assisting quite hard there. And he's popping out a few shots, trying to get even more damage on Han. Where's the TMD that Han so desperately needs? But he missed. How unfortunate. Another strat is messing around up here, but there's a lot of T2 anti-AF, and there's still a couple of surviving ASFs there. Have they restarted building their air HQs? Not up here. In fact, I'm not seeing any air tech. Any at all? Nope, we're T1 air for the Cold Team, which is quite courageous. Okay, Han being forced back here by a decent cluster of hoplites from Pippi. And up here, well, that was happening. I didn't see that. Sorry, this far base of Han's has been overwhelmed, and Pippi is pushing through. Will he be able to get any work done? He's already tactical missiles half of this area, but it looks like he's trying to go for some sort of run-by into the back of Han's production. But Han has T3 production, and there are Othiums coming out, which should be enough of a match to stop some of this if he gets, like, more than one. But I think he's coming up this way with his Ilshis, and that might give these guys a chance to run past. Oh, the Othium is coming back past here. Oh, Han might be a bit distracted because these hoplites do keep trying to pick him off, but Han does have nano, and this amount of hoplite fire is probably not going to be enough to do the trick. This brick, though, might make the difference. Anyway, back to this runway. The Othium has now engaged, and Othiums excel at short range. Oh, there's also an Othium here. So these might be enough to clear it up. It is being swarmed a bit, but there's more production all the time, and is this going to be any more eco damage done against Han, or they're focusing down the mechs? I like that because I don't think this army's actually going to survive to do any damage to the army, though this Othium is nearly dead. And there we go. Meanwhile, we do have some movement here now that Razor has had a chance to focus on it. There's point defenses scattered everywhere from Orion, but scattering point defenses everywhere does cost a lot of eco since they can't move, and he's still losing this production and this eco here. And all of this is still T1. Does Orion actually have T2 production? He does, but it's paused. Ooh. And is he actually going for a sandwich here? Because Razor has these forces here, which have a decent amount of Ilshis and a few mobile missile launchers. He's got these forces here. That could be enough to just pinch it in and sandwich the comm of Orion. Every time I pause like that, it's because I'm this far away from calling him RedOrion. RedOrion's very nice, though, especially raw in a salad. And is this going to be an RedOrion salad that we're about to have here? Well, he's got all these scattered T2 point defenses, and that may be enough to defend, and this army has stopped moving. If that one had moved in, it might have been enough. Damage is still being done, but I do not know if this is actually going to be enough damage. And he has lost quite a bit of eco here, so he's been pushed back down to just 59 eco. Hot Team have taken the overall eco lead because both Stormfront and Mordin have been building up eco. And between them, they have more than Razor, despite the fact that Razor is on 3 bases and Stormfront and Mordin are on 1 each. However, forward comes Orion, and now he's just... This is all basically just engines and a couple of mobile missile launchers. Orion will have no problem here. He might have a problem here if these guys get their act together and focus down the point defenses. This is not an easy situation for Orion to be in. Meanwhile, we have a cloak going down on Pippi, but I don't think he can afford it, and that's why he's paused it. Well, actually, now he might be able to afford it. Look at the amount of... He needs to start spending soon, because otherwise he'll be overflowing like a madman. And with that amount in storage, this is bad eco balance from Pippi. But hopefully he'll be able to fix it soon. If he's got any sense, he's going to be throwing up T3P gens everywhere. These guys need to be building T3P gens. That's what he needs. However, he resumes the cloaking build, and now he's just about spending. In the middle, we have gunships. Now at T3, we have 2 T3 air players compared to none. Pippi now has T2 air, but it's either. So we have 2 T3 air players compared to none for Hot Team versus Cold Team, and Pippi has, Morden, has just sent out his whalers, picked up a few Ilshis, and retreated. And we do also, let's not forget, have a laser on Pippi, so he's going for a full cloak laser com here, which could be hilarious. Orion still fighting his little corner here, but look at the amount that's now got in back into his main base. This could threaten Morden. Except, Morden has a vast crowd of whalers, and while there is a little bit of AA in here, there's not enough to stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about like 10 whalers. 10 whalers have an immense amount of hit points and can deal out an immense amount of damage, and they're focusing down the AA first, so now this is all basically a free snack for these Cyber gunships, and more are coming in all the time. Look at that, they're just being torn apart. And we're focusing eco here with the mobile missile launchers while they survive, which is nice because the gunships fell back a bit there. There's still a big bunch of mobile missile launchers to clear up, and they've taken out more of the eco belonging to Orion, and if they can take out his HQ as well, that would be fantastic. Looking up at the top, the Cloak Mazer-Com advances. We'll check it out in just a second. This could be a threat to Pippi, because I don't think he has enough here to stop that with the amount of T3 in there. But HanScom is relatively exposed up here. Now, of course, HanScom has Omni, and they might very well have actual Omni sensors up by now. Let's see if they can see Pippi on the radar. HanSolo. No, they can't, so they don't have Omni covering this area. And so Han might be in for an unpleasant surprise as Pippi advances. Well, now he knows there's a laser com, but now he's in range of it. Han reacts, but it's going to be too late. Boom! HanSolo, Hot Team's highest rated player, picked off by Pippi with a laser com. I love it. And it's not telemazer or anything, it's a proper tool up with cloak and go in and smash him with his laser face. Laser com, says HanSolo, he's not wrong. Meanwhile, these have been inherited by Storm, but Storm doesn't want to risk it here. There is a lot of T2 point defense. I think that could probably take it. But we're going for a strat snipe on Pippi. Pippi dodges. He's down into the red. He's down to 2,500 hit points. One more strat hit. One more. And he dies. But they don't have Omni. They've lost the look. That was not enough to kill him. And the strats can't see him anymore. Omni's not close enough. Pippi escapes with just 2,500 hit points remaining, and he is going to make it out. What a hero play. Excellent work from Pippi. I love every second of it. Razor completes an XP. What is it? He's got both Cyber and Serotech, but it's a chicken. I was going to say it's probably a monkey. I was wrong. It's a chicken. And this is nice from Razor. Razor is flying in T3 anti-air to support Pippi against any further strat snipes. That is beautiful team play, and I love it. Meanwhile, the Whalers here from Morden are knocking out Razor's frontline production, and he's spamming out T2 flak, and they still haven't built any T3 air. And Pippi's T2 air is still idle. But I think they've seen Razor, or maybe they've seen the chicken. They're going for one of them. The Strats are coming in for a snipe. Is it going to be Razor? Is it going to be the chicken? Is there going to be enough anti-air to stop them? A shield comes to cover Razor. In fact, 3 shields do, but the bombs are away. It's not enough. Boom. Razor is out at 28 minutes 30. And suddenly Pippy, Cold Team's lowest rated player, is all on his own. 3v1. And he's got about even eco, to be fair, but he's 3v1 and he's got no air whatsoever against 2 big T3 air grids. And that's insane. And Hot Team are beginning to get the eco lead and build it up. We'll have to see whether that changes. What are we gonna see? Okay, so we have some bricks massing up here with a bit of mobile missile launch to support. And stealth to cover them. They creep forward and do some work. Mark him, please, says Storm, because Storm is just massing strats. That's a lot of strats, so that's probably enough to kill him in one pass if they can get him. If they can see him, that is. And remember, he's cloaked. He can only be seen by Omni. Meanwhile, though, we've got to look at this chicken which is coming forward, but where's the anti-air support? We know that there was an enormous amount of air for Hot Team and none for Cold Team. So every single thing that Pippy does needs to be supported by insane amounts of anti-air. And I do not think the insane amounts of anti-air are going to be enough to stop this wave of gunships from Mordorin. The chicken retreats towards the shielded firebase with Thrack in it, and Mordorin doesn't take the fight for now, which I think is wise. Pippy's still here on the front line with his cloak, recovering health. He's working on a mega up here. Sending a few experimental, I say experimental, more, what's the word? Exploratory Ilshis into Orion's forward base here. And now he's sending a big horde of T2 and T3 anti-air to support the chicken, and that I think is the right decision. And shields to cover the chicken. Are they going to go in? Another wave of tactical missiles launches, and I think it's coming up here to try and take this out again. But we have the snipe coming in. The snipe is coming in on Pippy. Pippy gets under a shield. There is Thrack here. And the bombs are away. Pippy is dodging, but the... Oh, some of the bombs are hitting. Is it going to be enough? No. Once again, all this has... The bombs get through... Another bomb. 11,000 hit points left. 3,000. One more bomb would have done it, but the strats are dead again and Pippy survives. Meanwhile, we have to have a quick rewind to see what else has been happening. So, while the next failed snipe attempt advanced, so did the chicken. And it did have this amount of anti-air, but that's all going back to defend Pippy's comm. So this chicken is now looking a little bit exposed, and Mordorin's ever-increasing band of whaler gunships, that's just going to tear it apart. This chicken is going to get nothing done, and that's very unfortunate for poor Pippy. But I can understand why he called back all his units to try to defend his comm. The chicken is down. And we had also better note this. You saw the notification for that. Pippy has finished a nuke launcher down here, and I haven't actually seen any SMD. Oh yes, there's SMD for Storm, but it's not loaded. No SMD for Mordorin or Orion. You know what I was thinking there. I had to try so hard. And no SMD in the front base that Storm has inherited from HanSolo. Meanwhile, we have mobile missile launchers, bricks and stealth coming up around the top for Pippy. But Storm is about to finish a chicken. While that happens, though, the gunships for Mordorin have just carried on, and they are going to have a good chance to tear apart some eco here belonging to, well, I would say Pippy, Cold Team, same difference at this stage. However, there is a lot of anti-air everywhere. Pippy knows what he's got to do to have a chance of survival. A lot of bird power here they could take out. Shields going down. Eco is going down. There's that chicken finished for Stormfront in HanSolo's old base. We'll check on it in a minute. SAMs are being thrown up by the dozen by Pippi, but he is going to lose a bunch of eco and a bunch of bird power here to Morduin's gunships. However, I think Morduin might be about to pull back given the amount of SAMs that are up, and just as well because we want to go and look at this chicken from Stormfront as it comes forward to take out this T3 push, which is actually only a few bricks and mainly mobile missile launchers. And the bricks have not been microed. Pippi's managing so much elsewhere that he let the Ophiums getting close. And of course, mass for mass, Ophiums beat bricks if they're allowed to get in close. Now he kites away, which is all well and good, except there's now a chicken coming in, and that's going to do the damage. Okay, Morden's Whalers have actually just been able to take this out. I was wrong. Oh no, they haven't. That was the further stuff. That was where all the defences were going up. But anyway, the point is that there's a lot of Pippi's eco that these whalers are taking apart. But Pippi is basically now only on XPs and anti-air. Hot Team do now have a lead of about 200 mass there now. 200 mass per second. Somehow this TML is still firing. Though, not for long. 6,600 mass killed on that TML. So this TML, 7,500 mass killed by this TML. So, hero TML, and it might actually kill more after death. Yes, it does. Takes out another T2 Max. But it is finally killed. Hero TML. However, we now have 2 megas, not 1 but 2, advancing from Pippi, advancing on HanSolo's old base. Stormfront does have a chicken there and another under construction, but you know what 1 chicken does not be? The answer is 1 mega, let alone 2. And 2 megas are charging in. Storm retreats his chicken, hoping presumably to mess up these scraps for a strike on the mega. But look at the amount of anti-air with which Pippi is backing it up. Great choice from Pippi. And finally, do you see this? T3 air upgrade completed for Pippi. Somewhere. Don't know where. Oh, there it is. He's not actually building anything from it, but you know, he's got it, theoretically. This chicken advances to try and fight the megas, but against 2 megas, it's not getting anything done at all. Look, this mega's only barely into the yellow, and this chicken is already gonna be dead. Boom. They will have to run away from the Ion Storm, but... Okay, the gunships... Morden is saying, kill the AA and I'll do it with gunships, which he probably could, but there is so much AA. However, Pippi does need to bring it in and support the megas, otherwise the megas are going to be a bit vulnerable. Please, Pippi, move these to support the megas, otherwise you're going to have a problem. He's building more megas all the time. And the strats come in. The strats come in and they start hitting the mega. The gunships come in, trying to take the AA. And this could be quite a loss for Pippi. Can this AA catch up in time to save either of these 2 megas? The chicken that Storm was building here is denied. But the megas and the strats come in once again, but the megas have so many hit points to work through, especially when they got a bit of vet. Look at that. That maxes out to 143,000 right now. And the strats go down to the anti-air as the anti-air swarms in, and both megas are still alive. The gunships come in and take this mega, which is now in the red, but this mega I think is going to go down, but this one has a lot of and it does. But this one has a lot of anti-air supporting it, and Morden doesn't want to take the risk. Wow. Meanwhile, in the south, Pippi has a huge TML bank. What's he going to fire it at? I don't know. Eco, still hugely in favour of Hot Team, but map control just about in favour of Pippi. And he has still got this mega, which is now supported by the anti-air. And is advancing again. HanSolo's base is going to just be decimated here. Just find comms, says HanSolo. Though Storm's done that twice, and I got to say it hasn't paid off. Oh, I think they've seen the TML bank because the strats are coming to take it out. That's a lot of eco that Pippi sank there for nothing. Building and loading TMLs is expensive, but I think the strats are going to go down to these swarms of flak. Now, Morden's gunships have gone round the top here, bypassing the mega, and I think they're going to try and hit all of Pippi's eco down here, and Pippi's comm has been spotted walking. He's trying to get back here to his base where there's the hordes and hordes of SAMs, but at the moment he's in the open. Could Mordorin just lock him right now with the gunships? I think he could if he dared. But there's only a few strats out from Storm, which isn't going to be enough to do it. Mordorin needs to be the one who does it, and Mordorin is too busy worrying about the eco. And every second means that Pippi gets closer to his base, where he will almost certainly be safe. In come the strats. Can't see him, says Mordorin. They need to get another scout over there for Mordorin to lock it. He's being seen. He's being pung. Storm locks him.
Strategic launch detected.
The nuke is fired. We'll check on that in just a moment, but what's going to happen here? Nothing. They don't get the drop because of the altitude, and they're carved apart by the SAMs. The nuke goes flying. I think it's flying for Mordorin's air grid as this mega tries to come stomping in, but it's being blocked by the cliff. But Mordorin's air grid doesn't have an anti-nuke. Are we about to see? Yes! Boom! Well, they had 2 air players to nil, and now they have 1 air player to nil, as Mordorin's air grid is absolutely vaporized. 2 megas coming in, this one which survived from earlier, and this new one. There are gunships coming in, but they're from Mordorin, but the flak is quickly trying to support, and Mordorin can build no more gunships. He's lost his HQ. He's still got this over here, which he might want to bring back to defend, but because they've killed all of this eco belonging to Pippi. And now look at the eco lead. We have 500 eco leads for Hot Team. But how long? That's like 40. No, what am I talking about? What? That's like 80%. Sorry, I can't really do maths in my head that quickly. Get our Russell instead of strats is Mordorin, and that isn't a bad call, as long as the strats go in first to clear the shields. But with 2 megas pushing it in, Mordorin has a lot more on his plate to worry about, and we can see on the minimap that he is bringing those gunships back. Orion has just been ecoing up like a mad thing, and now actually has more eco than either of the other Hot Team players. But these megas, what can Hot Team actually do about them? Strats are massing from Stormfront, of course, and the next wave looks like it's ready to come in. Here come the gunships from Mordorin. Are they going to be able to go in at once? Spread attack strats across the AA, says Mordorin, and that's the right call, because we want to be able to smash these flak and give free rein for Mordorin's remaining gunships to come in and take it. But Mordorin can all just abort as I go in to take the fire. Yeah, I think Storm should have stratted those flaks with a Shift G, which would have left Mordorin open to be able to come in, as another mega is moving in from Pippi. And Pippi splits his megas, one of them heading up towards Stormfront. One of them heading to mass up with the AA before presumably heading in on Mordorin. Orion builds an XP somewhere. Where's he built it? He's got a chicken here, but as we all know, megas beat chickens. We do have this, which is quite cheeky. A few little T2 and T3 units slipping in to hurt Pippi's eco even more. But Pippi's got a chicken out, and that's probably going to help. And the next nuke is out. That looks like it's going for Mordorin. Yes, it's going right here. And I don't think Mordorin has anything left to stop it anymore. In fact, he's only got 53 eco left. But that nuke will take out a lot of Orion's eco as well if it hits. While this... well, the gunships are going in on it. Are they going to be able to take out the mega? I do not know. They are raining fire down on it, and the mega is shedding hit points. But here's the nuke, and I think Mordorin might be about to be toast. He is toast. Boom. Mordorin is down and out. This mega is attacking Stormfront, but it is taken out by the gunships from Mordorin, about to be inherited by Storm and by Storm's strats. Wow. Now it's just Storm and RedOrion versus Pippi. But there's still a heavily guarded mega here, surrounded by anti-air, and it's walking down on towards Orion's base. And we have this huge horde of gunships that Storm has just inherited. But what can it do? Orion's chicken faces off against the Mega. But as I've said, we know which way that fight goes. Anything else going on while we're at it? Well, we have these strats matching up here. We'll have to check them out in a moment. And the Mega is advancing down here. Pippi has rebuilt a lot of his southern TML. Orion's got some TMD though, and it's Serra TMD, which is pretty good, and he's got some here, so that's nice. Meanwhile though, the chicken is engaging the Mega, but the Mega is doing the correct backup, which is, look, he's queued up these short move orders behind it, and that causes the Mega to step back while moving backwards rather than turning around, so it can keep firing on the chicken, and that is really going to count in this circumstance, because look at that. This chicken is going to be taken out, and the Mega is still well over half health. Now he turns around, forgetting to kill the Ophions. There we go, he's going to turn and finish them off. The tactical missile launchers are firing. And what are they firing at? They're firing at the comm himself, I think. But these banks of TMD are enough to stop it. And Orion has a nuke defense, which is almost loaded. I think to be loaded before we get the next shot. The TMDs continue to do their job. And thanks to that insane amount of devastation, okay, the gunships have come in, but the flak is tearing them apart, and there's now 2 Megas here. And suddenly, what does Stormfront have left? Well, he has these strats, and in a last-ditch, desperate attempt, he's going to move in, and I think he's going to try for another snipe on the comm. Does he know where the comm is? I don't know, but he's going in there for it. The snipe comes in. This has to be a joke, says HanSolo. Well, look, he's lost the lock. He's lost the lock, and his strats are just being torn apart. A couple of hits on Pippi. I give up. It's unwinnable, says Storm, and he just resigns. And now, here are two Megas from Pippi, and there's no comm here anymore. There's a load of T2 PD, but you know what? Outrageous, those Megas. And I want to take a brief moment to appreciate the insanity of this comeback. From the team's lowest rated player of Coal Team left in a 1v3 with no eco, no air grid, Pippi has brought it down to a 1v1 against a similarly rated opponent. He's got the eco, he's got the map control, he's got the experimenters. This is insane. And now nobody has an air grid because these 2 Megas are about to destroy the air grid that used to belong to Stormfront. I can't see this happening without them just tearing it apart. What are these Cerberus going to do to this Mega? Tickle it? Make it giggle a little as it blasts apart the air grid with its vast cannons? I guess that's that's the answer, because look at that. What Cerberus? And the air grid goes up in a chain reaction. Now nobody has any air grids. Isn't this wild? And from a conclusion that looked almost certain to end in Pippi's defeat to waves and waves of air attacks, now suddenly it's not. And Pippi's Megas now have a bit of a walk before they come down here. But he's got more chickens here. He's got 1 chicken here, 1 chicken here. Orion has 2 chickens. And this southern chicken is pushing in. But I think it's going to be made into southern fried chicken by Orion's 2 chickens. Southern fried chicken garnished with RedOrion rather than RedOrion, and 11 herbs and spices. You know what one of those 11 herbs and spices is going to turn out to be? It's going to turn out to be an Ion Storm. Stormfront acknowledges it would have taken just 1 more strat after his first snipe attempt and everything would have turned out differently, but there goes that chicken. Very tasty. Just before it takes out... So we have got a nuke here from Orion, and if we can make that get through, I wonder whether Pippi has any nuke defense. Actually, I don't think it's going to matter, because do you know what that's aimed for? That looks like it's heading for that nuke, that vast wave of tactical missiles. They burst through. Boom! RedOrion's nuke is down. The second wave is heading in for, I think it's going to be for his PJ, but it doesn't matter. RedOrion resigns, and Pippi, Cold Team, win the game. What a game, what a comeback. Fantastic. I guess today's lesson is, who needs air? Not Code Team, apparently. Play of game has to have been Pippi's cloak, because without it he would have died so many times to air snipes. It was marvellous, and Hot Team just never got the Omni up in order to be able to see through it and lock him all the time. Madness. And the fact that they just didn't go for an air control response and just spammed it land AA, I did not expect that to do as much work as it did. Absolutely fantastic. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm the Commissar. I will see you next time.